Hey, I'm Kenneth WAJDA. I'm a professional photographer here in Colorado. Welcome to another one of my weekly photography talks. So today I want to talk about a camera I'm enamored with. If I only had one camera to take for a period of time, for a long period of time, I was thinking about what would I take? Would it be a 35? Would it be a 120? I don't think it would be a 4x5 because I can't carry that much film. And I don't want to always be changing that much film holders. And I came up with, this is just an absolute beauty that I think is the most perfect camera. I think this one's a 2.8C that I ended up picking up a lens hood at a local antique market for like $15. It's such a crazy thing to find that at a local antique market they would have a bayonet mount lens hood for this camera. But they did. And I use this as a take with me, throw in my bag camera. And there's something about the way people respond to this and then the beauty of the negative. This is a 2.8C with a Zenithard lens, 82.8. And I just love that. To me, that's like, I don't think there's another camera that I would say is my favorite camera more than this. Irving Penn used it. Richard Avedon used it. It was used for so many campaigns. It was such a beautiful, well-made machine. And it's so simple compared to a Hasselblad, whereas the Hasselblad takes lenses, the Hasselblad has different backs. I like the simplicity of one camera, film inside, that small, and able to shoot 120. If you can't afford a Rolleiflex, get a Yashica, man. Yashica copied the Rolleiflex almost identically. And these are $100. These are, maybe $400. These are still inexpensive compared to a new digital camera, but these are more expensive than the German ones, are more expensive than the Japanese version. Japanese version sounds a little bit less precise, has a little bit more of a rattle to the crank, but it's fine. It's completely fine. In fact, I would bet that most people could not tell the difference between a portrait or a photograph made with the Rolleiflex or the Yashica. But both of these are a small little tiny body that carries a big negative in a very small space. And you can put this in your bag. It doesn't weigh very much. It's not that cumbersome. And the ability for me to have a 120 negative, the photographs on my wall of my parents are shot with 120. That's because I appreciate shooting the small camera like that. And like I said, I love a Hasselblad, but a Hasselblad is a system camera, and this is, for me, the ultimate in simplicity. And I like the 80mm lens for a portrait lens. I think it works well for that. People often ask me, how do you compose square? They have a hard time with it. And I say, really, I have no hard time at all. To me, to make a photograph with a square negative, all you do is, it shows my age, but you picture a record album. Record albums have always been square, and so whenever I'm making a portrait, I'm thinking, how would I make this if it was a portrait for a photo album, for a record album? And to me, looking down into the viewfinder, having that ability to, compose on the whole screen with both eyes, there's something about using two eyes on a ground glass, for me, that's different than using a single eye through a tunnel. To me, it's almost like I'm looking at the finished photograph. And now I'm just looking for expression. And I really like it. Like I said, it's one of those things where if you had to take one, I would take it over a Leica because of the bigger negative. I would take it over a Hasselblad because it's smaller and it doesn't have as many components to deal with. If I take a Hasselblad, then I want to take more lenses, I want to take more backs, I want to take more kinds of film. I'll just take HP5, put it in there, and I'm good. I'm done. There's a simplicity to the Rolleiflex and all the twin lens reflex cameras. And certainly they're a attention getter. People are enamored when they see them and wonder, what are they? Can they talk about them? So they're great conversation pieces. I'm not sure a Hasselblad is as much of a conversation piece as a Rolleiflex. And it's something that makes for such a beautiful portrait that whenever I go somewhere and I don't have one with me, I always feel like it's missing in some way. So if I had to put one camera at the top of my list for the one camera that I would not want to be without if I could only have one, it would be this. It might not be this version. It might be a 3.5F because I'm not sure that I care about that 2.8. But the weight of the 3.5 is slightly less, so I'm kind of a fan of low weight on a camera, but it's not heavy no matter what. And the beauty is the quality of the glass and the quality of the image that it makes. And for that, I'll take it every time. All right, what's your favorite? If you had to pick one, put it in the comments below. Let's see what you would choose. If you're enjoying these, hit the subscribe button. If you can support, hit the Patreon. Thanks so much for watching and listening to me chat about my preferences. And I'll be back next week. We'll talk photography. As always, here's the good light.